What's going on, people? Welcome to the Full View. Happy Sunday. Hope you guys are doing well. We've got a proper full view, and even bigger full view. We've got Kenny and Little Kenny. Little Kenny is here as well. How you doing, Little Kenny? You all right? We see ya.
God.
Just tell them what to do.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Oh, good,
it.
man.
Come
That's
on,
it,
come on.
Little Kenny.
You have to listen to Little
right.
Kenny, man.
Oh, what a guy.
I'll see
Do
you
you know what,
later.
Little Kenny? We needed that. We needed that little man. Oh, bless him. Bless him.
Come on, Little
What a kid.
Kenny.
What a kid. 100%. Big up to Rich. Big up to Paulo. Big up to Owen. Big up to KG somewhere on the earth. I don't know where he is. He's somewhere. But he is here, which is all that matters. Yeah, we're not allowed to say where he is. But yeah, big up, man. Big up to you. We have to talk, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to everyone tuning in. I think this is really, really needed. This is actually one of those full views that we haven't had for a while because, you know, we haven't felt we've needed it. I want to hear everyone's opinion. I want to hear everyone's feelings and thoughts in the chat with not just what happened yesterday, but just where we're going, how you see things, etc., etc. So let's start with KG. I know you caught up with the game in your own time and stuff like that. We've had loads of conversations on tour about this team, and we've had a lot of conversations. But a lot of people are like I think, All Elite says it here. Let's get serious. Let's talk here because there's having a laugh and there's vibes and there's banter, but there are times where I think we really need to, dive into some issues. So KG, kick it away, man. How are you feeling about everything? I mean, the title is Should Manchester United Panic? I mean, it's game 2. We got 3 points on the board. Ironically, 3 points more than this time last year, which you wouldn't think by the way we're playing, but that is factually correct. But let's not confuse ourselves here. Let's not kid ourselves. The performances have been worrying.
You know what? It's worrying. And one of the things that we did say on tour was, bro, we're not ready. That was the main thing, the main feeling at the end of tour. I was like, Flex, I hated this tour. And usually you say to me, bro, like you see one game and you're gassed. Like that's all it usually takes. And I was like, Flex, well, I get that feeling from what I've been watching. There's something that will give you a little bit of hope and a little bit of excitement for the season to come. And I felt none of that. I looked at the and it's not even about Chelsea. Big up to what West Ham did today, but forget about that. It's really on ourselves. So now you look at the team and you're like, well, I don't really understand what preseason was about. And then you do have to, in this one stage, you will have to look at the manager at times because you put all this effort into, developing the youngsters, the Hugils, Brandons, and all these players of that ilk, right? But they haven't played. They're not going to be a part of the plans. It's just a waste of time. What you're looking at as a team that is not ready, is not fit, and they're just behind. There's a lack of rhythm, a lack of probably match fitness. And then you say, well, giving them little halves, it didn't help anyone. Them not playing 30, 40 minutes has not helped anyone. That strategy has not made us be on song and ready for the games. We're not going to go to all the players that played on loan. On preseason, they're never going to be used. There will always be unused subs. So you're like, bro, why did you put so much effort into that when what we really need to do is try to establish this new style of play, try to establish Bruno, Rashford, all these players working together, Garnacho, all these things that you were going to do in the season. That's all we should have been developing. And unfortunately, we haven't. And then the glaring one where we had to just wait. And this is why it's like, we can't panic too soon, but there's things that you are concerned about is, okay, I get what you're trying to make Mason Mount. I get, you said with Eriksen didn't know how to play that position, but it's the weirdest thing of buying a player to change him. You must have liked something about him and then let him be that. Are you with me? So it's I don't know, maybe bringing me to a channel and saying, I brought you here to be sensible.
Yeah, more for me. Yeah.
How do you mean?
Yeah. We bring KG and he's going to be presenting Tactical View every Monday. You know what I mean?
I was like, wait, what do you do that for? Why don't you just get someone sensible? You know what I mean? And this is This is what I'm talking. These are the things where it's like, it's just confusing. I'm really confused by Ten Hag, but I'm gonna wait, and I'm just gonna say, you know what, like it's new. There's a lot of things that are brand new, and there's a lot of things the team are trying. Let's see. So this is it. I'm gonna chill. It's not, and this is not just about. This is not like a scapegoat in Mount session right now. I'm just saying that it's really weird. I'm trying to understand the things Ten Hag has done. I can't even forget even the, and there's things that people are worrying about. Me and you've had a conversation about Anthony a few times, right? And it's like, well, Anthony needs to work. And then after, we can't pretend, when I do look at the whole thing, well, Anthony's got some issues off pitch as well. So you don't know if that is been an issue that's coming into his. I don't know what is going on, but nothing is good at the moment in terms of Man United and preparation. That's where I'm at.
Yeah, Rich, what say you with what you're seeing now?
I mean, I'm kind of agreeing with KG a little bit here, a lot, to be honest, because kind of what, not to put words in your mouth, right, but what you're gearing towards almost is what a lot of people are saying, that Ten Hag has a lot of questions to answer here, because some of these players, right, you know, you mentioned Mount, you mentioned Anthony, these are players that obviously that he's put a lot of stock behind, he's put a lot of, and you know, like his stocks in, right, and right now they're not really giving us what we want to see. Let's be honest, you know, Mount. I like him, man. I really want him to do well. But when the team isn't, I think I said it on the last full view, actually. He's one of those players that he's not going to grab the game by the scruff of the neck. He's not going to be the guy, really, that is going to be the star man in the team. He's going to be the main man in the team, like a Bruno, or even Casemiro, you know, making big changes for the team, scoring those goals, it seems. He's the guy that makes the team work, makes the overall team better. So then when the team is not doing well, he's an easy scapegoat. Then you're looking at Anthony as well. Anthony isn't right now. Anthony isn't giving us what he's meant to be giving us. And then you're going back, and you know, everybody's saying, a lot of people probably in the chat as well, I haven't checked it yet, but are probably saying, oh, you know, let's not get ahead of ourselves. It's only 2 games in. We don't have too much to worry about. But KG said it just now. It didn't look good in preseason. So it's nothing new, really, right? It's a bit weird, because obviously it's a style of play situation that we're trying to change here. One positive I would say is Onana's come in and he's been really good, right? So at least from the back, if we're moving forward, we've got progress happening. But it's very hard for us, as I think, as everybody kind of says. You know, I did a post-match review yesterday on my own channel, and I was like, it was just so devastating. Like, I was just so upset by seeing this team perform like this. It's like, why are we going through this again? Why are you doing this to us again? We just want to see good football consistently, right? And we're not getting that right now. So going back again, last thing I'll say really on this point is there clearly is an issue here with the makeup of the team, and maybe there is an issue in the dressing room. Who knows? Like, I don't want to make things up, right? Because we don't know really. Everybody's just guessing here, but something's not clicking. Something's not right, and you know, it could be issues off the pitch, but something's not right, and it needs to be sorted ASAP, because we've all been brought back down to earth. We're all like, yeah, you know, I said Champions League. I mean, some of you know, I said quality.
Let's not say what you said.
Exactly.
It's best we
so let's not say
Yeah.
Let's not. But
Let's not do that.
we've all been brought back down to earth big time.
Yeah,
you know, so
sure.
obviously steady grind, steady growth, but it's going to be a long season. Let's just put it that way.
Going to come to you in just a sec, Kenny. Going to get the super chats out. A lot of people getting involved. A lot of people want to have their say. Been a member for 12 months, JD Carmelo, a whole year. Big up to you. And JD Carmelo says, still believe in Eric Ten Hag. Glazers need to go. No options on the bench. Need invest in the squad and players to go. However, in Eric Ten Hag, I trust. Like and subscribe. Aminor says, Flex, has Ten Hag lost it? Bruno on the right, ? Rashi number 9, ? United View Scout says, bro, I think we'll be challenging for 5th. I'm in fear. This transfer window was a travesty. Red Devils 99 says, Eric Ten Hag drop Anthony, Garnacho, and Martial at 9 and Rashi on the left. WJ Barrett says, this is why we get laughed at as a fan base. This man got us Champions League and a trophy last season. Come on, man. 2 games. Let's just chill, man. WJ Barrett saying, just calm down. Everything's going to be fine. Jerome T says, yes, we haven't been good at all. And there are definitely concerns. But some of the absolute drivel that this fan base has come out with this past week is hilarious. And Fats is the latest member of the UV Members Club. Thank you for joining that. Really appreciate that, Fats. And Red Devils 99 says, Rashi at 9 is useless. I will even take Sancho at 9. And Satchev been a member for 5 months. Satchev says, Flex, kindly speak on Anthony, and this transfer is a 0 out of 10. Sean Thomas says, yes, panic. There's more competition this season. So, look, a lot of people sort of having their say saying, calm down. It's game number 2. Some people have been online and been really scathing for Ten Hag. He's not going to be the man. Ten Hag out. Seen a lot of that online. I've seen a few people say that.
Yeah.
Seen a few people say that. And then other people have been saying, of course, it's not a Ten Hag out situation. Absolutely not. Like you said, we've just come off the back of a really good season, considering. However, there are some questions, like you can still question some of his decisions, some of his transfers, but you can still absolutely want him to stay here and keep working on what he's doing. This is year 2. This is game 2 of year 2. So it is still really early. Kenny, what say you on what's happening?
Was that myself then? Sorry.
Yeah, it was you, mate. Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Sorry. What's happening? We all trust Eric. We do. We all trust him, and we've all wanted things to happen. And to be fair, they've happened. We've had 11 outgoings. And there's more outgoings to go. We know this. If I have a concern, it's I don't want him to fall on his own sword. And there's already in the fan base, we're having issues around, and a lot of the fan channels, I've never heard criticism of Ten Hag before, never, but I'm hearing it now. However, you've got to ask yourself, how can Garnacho and Anthony continue to be selected? I have Monday night at Wolves. It was awful. We got away with murder. We really did. And for 2 games, our man of the match has been our goalkeeper. That speaks volumes for the standard of football that we're playing. So I do ask the question about Garnacho and Anthony. Why are we not making those changes? Because everybody in the fan base, and it's not just it's not like a 50-50 or whatever. We can see it with our own eyes. I don't want him to fall on his own sword, but if he's not careful and he doesn't make the big decisions, and the big decision has got to be Anthony and Garnacho, Sancho in, Rashford on the left. We don't want to see Martial. We know we don't, but we may have to do. Now, the next game is Forest at home. We have to beat Forest.
Facts.
And all right, we're only in game 3 and already we've got a must-win game, because that team ain't beating Arsenal the week after. That
Absolutely
team is not
not.
beating Arsenal. So we have to beat Forest. We have to beat Forest. So I'm
saying that though.
First half yesterday, though, KG, I was happy with the first half yesterday. I thought we had some good passages of play in the first half. I did. But the second half was, not good at all. Not good at all. We had 23 touches in their box opposed to their 6. And I can't remember anything constructive happening in their box. Like a run-through or, somebody running past and shooting. But we had 23 touches in their box opposed to their 6, and they scored 2 goals, and we're struggling to score. There's something, a creative element in and around the box is not happening. We love to shoot, and sadly, Garnacho's getting in the same way. He's not looking up. He's not seeing that little link play. And fair play to Sancho. We're all criticising 70, 80 million or whatever, but what that lad can do is play football. He can hold the football up, he can see a pass, and he can make a pass. And we're not getting that in our final third. We're not getting it. And that's where it's going to change.
We are struggling there. Paulo, I know obviously you had a lot of thoughts yesterday, but having to stew on it. Where are you at with it now?
Yeah, I mean, even yesterday in the studio, I mean, you can definitely remember the vibe in the studio was it was upsetting, it was stressful, frustrating. But looking at it yesterday, just analysing everything. I mean, even in the 60th minute, we looked at the stats and it said we had 3 touches in the opposition half and they had like over 30. Oh. And then it was only 10 minutes later, we managed to get up to like 24, 25. So what we saw yesterday is what we saw a lot of last season. We're rushing the play. And what I hate seeing what I really hate seeing is that as soon as we're rushing everything, it's just from the goalkeeper to Bruno and then a long ball from Bruno. And that's all we got in our locker, really. The ball goes straight to Bruno. He's trying to ping up a long ball. What I don't like is as soon as we start to panic, we don't continue with what was working. So in the first half an hour, we were playing well, good intricate passing. We were staying calm. And then in the second half, we just rush things. I get it. You're down 1-0, but stick with what was working. You're rushing the play. There's no fluidity. And I feel like we just panic. We can't stay calm in those situations. If that's going to continue, we're not going to get top 4 this season. We're really not. You're looking at Newcastle, you're looking at Brighton. And I am worried because yesterday I went home and I look at Anthony and I feel like I've been watching this player for years now because he's been doing the same thing as he was last season. I expect Ten Hag to be telling him, listen, stay composed. I look at him and I question whether he's a footballer because last season at times he was doing brilliant stuff. Our last game against Tottenham, he was spinning Perisic around, and then yesterday it's like, where's your head gone? Like you can barely dribble, his head's down and he's running like this, and he just stay composed. I know he's a young player, but stay composed, stay calm, keep the ball, control the ball. And that's the thing about Sancho. He takes care of the ball. And against Forest, we're going to need players who take care of the ball. Players like Sancho. And look, we'll get into Rashford in a minute, I think. But again, Rashford has been very poor in the number 9 position. And I get people are saying he doesn't want to play there. But you got to at least try. And I didn't see him trying yesterday.
Yeah. Owen, I know, you're quite rational, but also quite pragmatic and looking at things of, what they are versus what they aren't. The panic situation. This is game 2. This is game 2. This is, and the window hasn't even finished yet, although it looks bleak about what else can come. But this is Erik ten Hag's second big window because we all saw what happened to him in January. That wasn't his fault. How are you seeing all of this? Is this much ado about nothing, or is there something there? Is there something where we have to look at this and go, there's some things that do need addressing and quickly, or they're things that will just iron themselves out?
No, I think when it comes to Ten Hag, look, obviously, and again, you have to say the good bit first because people don't listen to it if you put it at the end. So you have to put the good bit first. Obviously, 100% behind Erik ten Hag. Obviously, what he did last season was ridiculous when you really step back and think about it. He got third in the Premier League, won a trophy, got to a cup final. He basically didn't have a striker all season. He did that without a striker. So fair play to him. He's done really well. And I do believe in him, and I do believe in his ability to turn things around. But I do also agree with what Kenny said, that I'm worried about his stubbornness. I'm worried about his sort of persistence. I'm not against... he picked the same 11 that started against Wolves because he was like, right, go prove yourself. And in fairness, like we said, first half, we did. We played all right. We create chances, gilt-edged chances. But the problem is that it's the same. It's familiar. I mean, going into that game, if you'd have said, right, towards the end of last season, what will happen when you go away when you play a team top half of the table? You'd say, well, we'll start the game pretty well. We'll create chances. Won't score said chances because we've got nothing up front. So we'll miss some gilt-edged chances. We'll get to half-time. It'll be 0-0. We'll go, oh, my goodness me, how are we not 1-0 or 2-0 up? Second half, because we haven't killed the game off, the opposition grows into the game. We get tired. We don't make changes quick enough. They score and they win the game comfortably. And that's every single time away from home. And I'm looking at one point in the second half, honestly, I was baffled by some of the decisions that Ten Hag made. I really was, because I looked at the front three and I said, every single one's in the wrong area. I went, Bruno's got shifted to the right. We know that doesn't work. Rashford's up front in the 9, which again, he can do, but not consistently. We know he can do a job there for the last half hour of the game, put Rashford up front or something like that, but not across a full 90, not across a full season. He doesn't have the link-up play. He can't play with his back to goal. His touch isn't good enough. A couple of times, balls fed into him, pings off him. He's much more effective off the left. And then Sancho came on, and he was off the left. When all pre-season, we've seen him through the middle. So I'm looking around going, these pieces aren't fixing together. And then obviously the midfield, the balance isn't there. I was chatting to KG earlier today, and I was sort of saying, I don't get me wrong. I'm not saying, we shouldn't have sold Fred. Obviously, we should have sold Fred. But isn't the point that you sell these players and you get an upgrade on what they do? Like yesterday, that would have been a game for a Fred, but you sell Fred and you get a better version of him. And it's not to say that Mason Mount is terrible or Mount out is terrible signing, but one thing that Mason Mount isn't, he's not the same kind of player as Fred. He's not the same kind of player as Christian Eriksen, because Christian Eriksen is still the best technical midfielder we've got. because when he comes on and he sprays the ball around a bit, you go, I tell you what, his passing range is still unbelievable. So I'm not seeing how some of the pieces fit together. And I'm worried with Ten Hag, like I said, that he's just because he's done really, really well, and he has, and I'm still massively behind him, but he's not immune to criticism. And if he has this insistence on Anthony's got to start when the production just isn't there, Rashford through the middle, and don't get me wrong, I understand Martial fitness, Højlund's not fit, but also I'm still looking at Sancho as the better option through the middle at the moment, and then sorting out the midfield balance too. So I just feel like, obviously, it's not time to panic or anything like that, but I feel it's justified to look at those first two performances, plus pre-season, plus the end of last season, where, let's be honest, we were all glad to see the season come to an end because we went, hey, we fell over the line when it came to top four. Had it been 5 extra games, we probably wouldn't have got it. And everyone knows that because Liverpool, they were on the way up. We were sort of staggering a little bit. Rashford's form had dropped off. We still had Weghorst in the team. The team looked absolutely shattered. So it just feels like it's a continuation from last season where we're staggering. And we'll play Forest at home. And because we're playing at home and we still got better players, we'll probably beat Forest at home. But away from home, Arsenal, does anyone think we get anything out of that game on the panel?
Enough though, when we play Arsenal and they're in great form and we're terrible, that's when you tend to win.
Even that, KG, even that, I don't see in that team that whole, like, if it was at home, I'd say yeah. I'd say even if you're not playing well, they'll show up. Away from home, I said this the day before in the press conference. I said, and I feel bad for him, honestly, in Rasmus Højlund, because that's almost our only hope at this point, is that Højlund comes in and he's way better than we think he is. You know what I mean? He comes in, we go, I tell you what, he's unbelievable. He's getting goals. And maybe, look, yesterday, had Højlund been playing a striker, maybe if a ball comes to him instead of Bruno, he doesn't get headed over the bar. Or he makes Rashford, when he's through on goal, a proper striker, lifts it over the goalkeeper and scores. And maybe that will make a bit of a difference, and you can control games a bit better. But the fact that we're sort of going a 20-year-old striker, that's kind of, our hope that an unknown. The fact that, look, Kobbie Mainoo came out when he was injured at pre-season, and everyone went, oh, it's a big miss. Bigger than we thought. He's an academy player that hasn't really played that much for us, really. So, it is... Those things are a bit worrying, no doubt about it.
I think, YouTube. Leo says YouTube.
By the way, that's been a thing with YouTube, by the way, for like a couple of weeks now. It is
it's been bugging out a little bit.
Glitchy. I did a video on my channel earlier today, Flex. Yeah, you know what it says? Like, views in the first 5 minutes. It said views in the first 56 years. 0. I went. Well, if I've got 0 after 56, I don't think it's going to work out.
You'd have to just give up.
It's not for me.
Taking a piss. Apologies. Some people. Hold on. One second. There's a lot of super chats here. Some people saying in the comments as well that their super chats haven't gone through as well. So I'm going to read out the ones that have gone through, so that people who think maybe theirs hasn't might realize that it has. All Elite says Eric Ten Hag is now on my radar. Questions building. And Fat says the problem is the Glazers point blank. We have no money, which makes Ten Hag have to find players for cheap who probably not good enough for United, or miss out on players like Kane. But it's not. It's not Ten Hag. It's not Ten Hag. Where are we at? KG trying to get over that. Just trying to put his head above the pulpit there. Black Wolf says U6 saying Ten Hag out, right? No, I don't think anyone here is saying
that's exactly what you're saying. We're all saying it. That's exactly what we're saying.
No way.
We're absolutely not saying that. Michael K says, question for you all. Why is Ten Hag getting away with the same football that Oli did?
I don't think you can say it's the same football as Oli did. Let's be honest. Like, Ten Hag has a plan, right? And we can all see that. I think it's a bit we are, as fans, we're allowed to be. But we are getting a bit reactionary because we're upset about the way it's turned out so far. But once again, it's 2 games, so yeah.
I'm gonna
pick on things. How do you feel? Is it time to panic?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I'm gonna get to the Ten Hag thing secondly. I'm gonna talk about individuals actually, because there's 2 sides to success in it. There's what the manager does and how the manager sorts out players and brings in players, and his tactics and his in-game management and who starts, who gets subbed. All of that stuff is the manager's side. But then there's the player's side of the accountability of you're supposed to be this sort of player, or you're supposed to be that type of player, and you need to deliver. So let's start at I don't know. I'm going to start at Bruno because I'll give him a lot of backing. I'm arguing with Tobes yesterday. He's telling me Maddison's a better player. I'm saying, are you smoking something? Like, of course not. And look, after one game, especially in particularly where Bruno missed big chances and then proceeded to play horrendously, it makes that argument between the two players silly in the context of one game. But I don't care about the Maddison situation. I want to talk about us. And he's our captain. He's our captain, and he has dug us out of a lot of holes, but now there is even more expectancy on Bruno. And I love Bruno. I'm the first to defend him. But like I say, as much as I defend him and as loudly as I defend him, my criticism also has to match. I can't just shy away from saying what's true with what I'm seeing just because I love the player. And whenever we're around Bruno, he's blessed to us and with spud fists and stuff. I have to dissect what I'm seeing. And it's not good enough. It's not good enough. Like, you can't miss that chance 6 yards out, but fair enough. Stay tapped in. Stay tapped into the game. Keep us ticking over. Don't lose your head. Keep your quality high. Don't start reverting back to the old Bruno. If you're the captain, you're the guy that I'm supposed to look at, that his game shouldn't go beyond the 7. Everybody else's might, but your game can't. That's just what a captain is. We've just come off the back of a captain in Harry Maguire, who is everything a Manchester United captain shouldn't be. And we all agree, or most of us agree, that Bruno is everything that embodies a Manchester United captain. Part of that is having the responsibility of not losing your head, not getting silly yellow cards, not pretending to be injured when you're not, and sticking to the principles and the rules and not having to go at people. And I didn't see that yesterday. We give him the benefit of the doubt against Wolves because in the clinical moment when we needed a little bit of quality, it was actually him who provided the pass to Wan-Bissaka, then we score. But the same level of performance was there. And actually, the first 30 minutes, Bruno was actually playing really well, winning the ball back with Mason Mount. He was trying Rabona flipping crosses straight to Marcus Rashford, a couple of crossfield passes. Everyone was playing fine. But at the moment when it starts crashing, that's when it's on the captain. It's the one who's supposed to try and get everybody in and get us going. So I was disappointed from that. Marcus Rashford. Now, I said the biggest thing with Marcus Rashford this year is to prove that last year wasn't a flop and to prove that getting big money and a big new contract is the right decision. Now, I'm not going to say that 2 games have showed us that it's the wrong decision. But what I am going to do is, again, call him out for his body language. Call him out for the lack of quality. His body language looks awful. I don't care how you want to dress it up of Rashi's the guy and what he did last year. 100% agree was, he dragged us through the mud last year because we didn't have anyone who could score, and he dragged us through. This is this year. In the first 2 games where he's playing up front, his body language has looked absolutely awful. If you miss a chance, you miss a chance. You're not working hard enough. You don't look sharp. You're not taking care of 5-yard passes. Your shoulders are a little bit hung dog. Like, you just don't look at it. And I don't want to be saying in 6 to 9 months that this is an Aubameyang after he signed the deal. I don't want to be saying that. I don't want to be saying that. So he's got a lot of work to do. Now, look, the saving grace is that it's game 2. He's playing up front where we all see that he's not a striker and he needs to be in his natural position on the left. That's like the only comeback you can have for that. Anthony, listen, Anthony, if I'm being honest, yeah, the trajectory of Anthony, and I'm talking about the way that he's going, yeah, if he keeps going this way, he could be a worse buy than Maguire for £80 million. The way that he's going. I'm being serious.
Big call.
Yeah, I'm being serious. And the reason why...
That's fair. That's fair.
And the reason why I say that is because Harry Maguire's a big lump centre-half, supposed to get his head on things, and you expect him to, be there and get headers and stuff like that. But Anthony's come here as Brazilian flair, Ten Hag's guy, can twist up any man. He can do crazy stuff. I'm talking talking about the trajectory. If it doesn't stop, Kate, if he keeps doing madness and he keeps playing like this, how Nicolas Pepe, we laughed at him for 75 million all the way out of Arsenal, it's going to go down as a massive L, bro. Yeah. Like, let's just be real. We can say that. The trajectory is shit. Like, the way he's playing and the way he's moving, if it carries on the trajectory, his trajectory is doing this, is it not? That's the current trajectory. So unless it changes and starts doing that, he's going to keep nosediving. And before you know it, you've had Anthony for 3 years and he's done nothing and he cost 80 million. Well, we just had Harry Maguire for 80 million.
I'm saying Maguire could never do that. Like, the other trajectory, he could never go that way. Like
No, but Maguire started high though, or not high, but
no,
he started
didn't.
better
He just
than.
started here. Then he's
All
like,
right,
it just,
look, we can get pedantic, yeah.
Maguire,
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
his
yeah,
first-
you
his
get
first
it.
Can I-
year
The
under
first
Ole.
year, the first year, Maguire was all right. Even the second, he was just okay. Like he
yeah,
wasn't,
and
and then he
yeah.
became a massive problem.
Yeah.
We're seeing after year one, we all went, yeah,
decent season. It was a decent first season. Anthony had a decent first season. It's all
was
right.
all
It wasn't
right.
what you call it. Yeah. So it wasn't
all
like
right. And then he's kicked off this one. He's kicked off this one. Awful. I'm just saying, if he carries on, I'm not saying he's going to carry on doing it, by the way.
Yeah.
I didn't say he is a worse buy. I said if
Yeah.
it carries on with the trajectory of how the crazy stuff he's doing for 80 million, and he's come. Remember, KG, when we was linked with him, I said, but can he get past the man though? Like, how good is this kid?
Yeah.
And you said, yeah, he's this, he's that. You know, all the Ajax guys, we talk Ajax, yeah, he's this, he's that. And I've seen this guy, and I'm like, I don't see it. I don't see it yet. So I'm not saying that he is as bad as Maguire. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if the trajectory continues, that is a big outlay, not his fault. Yeah, we came in late. We had to pay double. I get it. I'm just saying A and B is that if he carries on like that, it's one of the biggest fleecings ever. Kenny, I know you wanted to come in there.
The comparator I'm going to give you with Anthony is Jack Grealish. And the reason being is Jack Grealish at Aston Villa was Anthony, basically. He was full of skill. He was full. Pep got him. And on the overlap, one of the interviews, he said, I don't take players on anymore like I did. He said, because I'm frightened to death of looking behind me, because I know that Pep is giving me daggers if I lose the ball. Right? What you've seen with the Jack Grealish type, and it was skillful like Anthony, is he's learned to look after the ball and to use his skill more with little passes or whatever. And what you've seen in year 2 and year 3 for Jack Grealish is you've seen a trajectory going that way with regards to becoming a team player. So, and this is Ten Hag's job, this is where Ten Hag has to turn around and say, you cannot keep losing the ball in the opposition third because you're putting the rest of the team under pressure. And that's what's got to happen. He's got to look at how Jack Grealish has changed his game completely.
But he knows, but Kenny, this is the guy. And Anthony knows what Ten Hag expects of him. Like Jack Grealish is a ride with Pep, and he's like, this is a new level, this is a new manager. These expectancies and these demands are actually really, really high compared to bloody Dean Smith at Villa or whoever. Was it Dean Smith?
Yeah,
it was Dean Smith. Yeah.
Dean Smith,
But Anthony played a couple years for Eric Ten Hag. He knows exactly what he wants, and Ten Hag has co-signed this, and that's where I'm like, people are saying it there. Palestri looks better than him.
It feels like there is a reluctance, isn't there, of like, and this is where the Maguire comparison I think is fair, where it's like, you know, of like Ollie, it was like, I'm not dropping him because I've staked so much on bringing him in. Yeah. It does feel like with Ten Hag, doesn't it? Of I pushed so hard last summer where, you know, we could have got him earlier on. We didn't. We sort of scoffed at the transfer fee. Then we went in late and we spent so much money on him that he's got to pay off. That not that he's a flop yet or anything like that, but it's kind of like well, I've got to play him. He's my guy. I've spent so much money on him. If I drop him, that's me admitting that it's not working out. But the problem is that, like Kenny said earlier on, that's when you're falling on your own sword. And there is nothing wrong with Ten Hag to say, you know what, Anthony, it's not working for you at the moment. Bring in Palestri, because Palestri is different than Anthony. He's more direct. And I'm not saying like Palestri is the best player in the world or anything like that. I'm just saying on the right-hand side, particularly, Ten Hag talks about transition. We want to be great in transition. On counterattacks, I only see Anthony slow the game down because he cuts back. He cuts back or he gives it to the fullback. And it's not as if he can't take the player on because we've seen him do it, but he does it so infrequently. And at least when Palestri comes on, you go, he takes him on. And you go, okay, fair enough. At least you're trying to take him on.
Oh, not to
go on.
Yeah, not to compare our team to other teams, right? But then when you United, we want the best players. When you look at Anthony, you compare him to other wingers in the league. Salah, obviously, these are the best wingers. Even Mitoma on the left wing, Saka, you know. Anthony's not doing those. He's not even giving me the
compare him to Pedro Neto, Jared Bowen, Solly March.
Even those guys.
There's that level. And I'm saying that players are better.
They're even better. But then also, like, even when we consider the team as a whole and you think, okay, cool, look at Foden yesterday for City, right? Was it yesterday he played, right? And he was carrying the ball through the park, through the gliding. We don't have a player at the moment that's gliding through the pitch and carrying the ball forward. Anthony doesn't do that. When Rashford is on the left, he's more effective as a winger, right? But Anthony's not effective like, let's just be honest. In attack, anyway, you know, we can all say he's good for the structure and he's giving us defensive structure and whatever like that. But at the moment, he's not exciting us in the same way that you would the top level wingers. But then even, like I said, like Flexen just said, the mid-level wingers in the league. So it's a problem that he has to get better. For £80 million, this guy's not giving us what
I know. I know. Yeah, I know I was going on individuals, and then from a team perspective, there's certain things that, again, you're looking at the setup of what we're doing and the players that we're buying, and how it's knitting together with the early signs. So we're trying to hope that this is early doors, so Ten Hag can fix this, and change some things and pull some things in. Which actually, for 30 minutes against Spurs, there was a change. Like tactically, Mason Mount was closer to Casemiro. You could clearly see that. And then he sees the opportunity of when to go forward to initiate a press. Hence why we was winning the ball back early in Spurs' half, in Spurs' first third, our final third, getting chances. They were nervy in the first 30 minutes. We did play well, and we should have been at least 2 goals up. And Ten Hag spoke about that afterwards. Obviously, in public, he's not going to bash his team. Ten Hag's never going to admit that the midfield's got big problems. We need to work on it. He's going to go with, these man should have been 2-0 up after 30 minutes. Game done. You know what I mean? So I get that. But if I'm Casemiro, I'm going mad. Because all of a sudden now, there's all these big question marks like overnight Casemiro's crap. How can that be? It's not, that isn't what it is. Casemiro is not all of a sudden crap. All of a sudden, Casemiro has got these big distances to cover, these big spaces to cover that weren't there before. Or he's going on a jolly up and everyone else is going on a jolly up, being too high up the pitch. Then we lose the ball in transitions and we can't get back. The team setup is not right. If you're going to have wingers as high as ours, not kind of coming back to help out the midfield and tuck in when we haven't got the ball, they better be bloody good. They better engage their fullbacks so much that it makes it difficult for them to get out. You better be coming in off the sides, creating havoc, you know what I mean, getting shots off, consistently probing, we're getting corners. But what's happening is we're getting wingers. We're having wingers in Garnacho at the minute, who I agree is better off the bench. Alejandro Garnacho's doing it and Anthony's doing it, where they're high up and then they're losing the ball. They're losing the ball in bad areas. And then they're so far behind the counter-attacks on, and then we're exposed. Midfield, the gaps are just too big. And all of a sudden now we're questioning whether we need a different type of midfielder, like Owen touched on. You get rid of Fred, yeah, and you clearly don't want to use McTominay because you brought him on late against Wolves reluctantly, even after you brought on Eriksen. And this one here, he was just sitting there twiddling his thumbs. Fair enough if you don't think he's good enough, Eric. But we've just taken 2 guys out of our midfield who we've all agreed we need to move on from. But the thing we're saying we need most is the attributes that they had, which is physicality. How does that? How then? How does that happen? Then now we need, because let's not act like we haven't spent money as well. Like, we still need more. We still need to take time, but we spent some money. We spent some considerable money, and every time something goes wrong, all we do is come onto a thing like this, and we go, we need this. We need that. We need this. We need that.
Exactly.
But wait there, hold on a minute. We've just bought quite a lot. We've just bought Onana. We've just bought Højlund. We've just bought Garnacho. We bought in Eriksen. We bought in Casemiro. We bought in Anthony. Like, who else?
I don't want to be a stickler, but we didn't buy it. Like, Garnacho's been there, innit? It's like,
I didn't say Garnacho. Did I say we bought Garnacho? I didn't say we bought.
Yeah, you said Garnacho still.
Sorry, we bought Mason Mount, and we bought in what's his face? Malacia, obviously as a boost. Ten Hag spent money. We're to the point where we're looking at our starting 11. When KG, what show was going through? It was like, wow, he's slowly changing around this whole team. Like, Licha, Martinez, that's the other one. So Licha, Casemiro, Mount, Onana. That's 4 certified
Well,
starters.
it's the open heart surgery thing, isn't it? Because people like to use that clip. They go that when Ralph goes open heart surgery, and every time we lose, people go, "See, we need open heart surgery," and you go, "The team's changed quite a lot." Just a week ago, we said how different it was to Ralph's last game.
That's what I'm saying. So look how different it is. But then we're sitting here with these questions. So that means that we're going, well, actually, that means that the people that he's bringing in, it's not quite working now. So that's when we have to say, okay, Ten Hag, we trust in you. This is what you're going to sort out now, because you brought Martinez here. You brought Anthony here for a lot of money. You brought Casemiro here, and he was fantastic last year. So what's going on with that now? In one preseason, he can't just go from that to crap. That's not true.
A month ago, we were saying his signings have been excellent. We've been saying, and now we're like, maybe his signings aren't so good.
So the balance has got to be right. I'm going to get to the super chats here because I think there's an awful lot here as well. I think we read that one. You said a question for you all. Owen, well done for having a channel for 56 years, says Little Yo-Yo.
Originator. Zero
Oh,
views.
gosh. Ginnes, big up to Ginnes. He says, thoughts about we don't have ball winning midfield when all the forward and current midfielders are losing the ball. Magicians. Yeah, that's what I mean. The turnovers are ridiculous. RK says, Erik ten Hag has been known to stick into principles, and this will be his downfall. Mark my words, he won't change the midfield next game. Our window is done.
He has to change the midfield. He has to.
Yeah, we'll wait and see on that one. Red Devil says Eriksen at midfield has more touches control than Mount, so less fire for Casemiro to put out. Concerning is us collapsing as soon as things don't go our way. Yeah, we've seen that many and many times. WJ Barrett says we was all buzzing as a fan base. New signings come in, not first choice, but now the Glazers have sucked out the joy by not leaving and players not coming in. It's clear Erik ten Hag is trying. This is on the Glazers. It is on the Glazers, but he spent money though. Like he's just got. We were just saying we've got our three. We've just addressed our three biggest areas. We've got a midfielder, a goalkeeper, and a striker. And I get it. The striker's injured. He hasn't played yet, so we can't bash that signing yet. And Onana has been good, but the midfield now looks worse. When Owen was saying to me earlier on, he's right. When we had Eriksen, Casemiro, Bruno. We looked all right.
Literally a year ago. This is why I don't go. I get like things happen, people fall off quickly, and we'll get to Super Chat very quickly. But like Eriksen, like we beat like Arsenal and Liverpool at home with Eriksen in midfield with Casemiro last season, and we were saying how great.
And all of a sudden, it's rubbish. Eriksen's got no legs and can't do anything anymore. He's crap. Do you know what I mean? Lil Yo-Yo says KG7 a light bid, light bird. I think hashtag free KG. Red Devil says, I saw more from KG at 9 in tour than Rashi so far. And he just came off with the hammy as well.
Hammy, yeah. The spirit of Martial.
Yeah, he was a real Martial. Yeah. WJ Barrett says, this looks like an excuse. How we all feel with the Greenwood stuff and the Glazers screwing us. I'm drained, guys. Mentally, the players must feel it too.
Maybe.
And Sean says, it's simply about keeping the players honest.
That's it right there. That's it. That's the comment that I've been waiting for. And that's what the team needs to do. We're not playing as a team. The team needs to huddle together. They're good players, man. And what you're getting is because of lack of fitness, lack of sharpness, and lack of keeping everyone honest and working for each other. It's all breaking down. Like as you said, Eriksen and a midfield of Eriksen, Bruno, and Casemiro was holding it down. And why? Even defensively, there was just so many good relationships all over the team. And at the moment, you haven't seen that because again. Chemistry is not all the things that you need in terms of just fight and working together isn't there. And even to just jump on, piggyback off that point that you said before about, the Arsenal game and this, that, and the other. I remember the sequence where we were losing all these games and the next game was Liverpool. Yeah. No matter home or away, anywhere playing Liverpool, everyone said we're going to lose this game and we're going to lose it by a mighty score. That was the feeling. The team has to come together somehow. Erik ten Hag has to get into his management bag and make everybody work together for 90 minutes or 100 and how many, or the minutes getting crazy right now. But they have to happen. Absolutely. They need to start working together. You cannot see, it's just weird. It's a team of individuals. It's not a team. And that now you're getting this and then trying to learn each other and understand each other in 2 games and you haven't seen it. We have to get through this difficult phase.
Owen Style Advisor says Jarrod Bowen looks more dangerous than Anthony and Sancho combined. Look at Saka, Salah, Mahrez, Olise.
There you go.
Bloody solid March outsigns them. Big up all. WJ Barrett says, I need some balance. Where is Marcel? Listen, I'll tell you what. Marcel in the studio yesterday, I tell you what.
Yeah.
He weren't the normal. I tell you what, WJ Barrett, you're looking for it from Marcel. I was looking for it from Marcel yesterday. It wasn't really, even before the game, he was like, yeah, guys, I'm nervous. I'm not in it. Paulo. He wasn't really...
Yeah, he said he was worried. He came in, he said he didn't seem the same Marcel. He was kind of like his head was down and he was kind of like, I'm a bit worried, guys. And I was that made me a bit nervous as well.
It wasn't 100% Fleck. It was like a 50% Fleck. He's gone down. It's changed.
Basketball game.
Yeah, he said it was going to be a basketball game as well. Waiting for United to win in Prem says Erik ten Hag has 3 games to play good football or he's a fraud. Oh, wow. That's a bit, I wouldn't say that. That. But that is his opinion. Santiago says, where is the spine? Our central attacking midfielders shifted out wide. Our 9 is a winger who doesn't take up central spaces and can't hold up the ball. Casemiro is left isolated. Agreed. And Giggs says, by whatever you want, If your two main players, I think Rashford and Bruno, are spammers, no control in their play, you can't hope for control. It will always be a lottery just by the nature of those two players, Giggs is saying. Kay says, we don't score enough team goals. Been saying this since Rashi 30 goals. That was an area I was looking forward to seeing improvement. Yeah, I mean, Rashi, we said this, Rashi was doing really well last year, but it felt like, in my opinion, it was just him in his little bubble doing it. Like, I can't explain it. It helped us because he scored goals in big moments. But, like, I don't know, I've never felt that he's contributing to the team cohesion. I feel like he's just on the end of, like, flash stuff because he's really good at that type of play. Sharp, shooting, direct, running in behind, goal. But, like, the consistent cohesion and build-up of things going through Rashi, that's what's been missing so far this season as well. Basilo says there may be a questionable talent ID by Ten Hag. The entire right side is crap. We had a poor preseason and we are paying for it. KG spoke about the preseason many times. Red Devil says we can't only rely on Bruno and Rashi for goals and assists like last season. Need more players to hit double digits like other teams, which I can't see happening right now. Exactly. Is Sancho going to get us double figures? Is Garnacho going to get us double figures? Is Anthony going to get us double figures? And then you go in, yeah, it's just Bruno and Rashi. Like, it's true. Do you know what I mean? And that's a big, big problem. Lil Yo-Yo says, Rich looks like he's in detention.
Wow.
I don't know. That's what Lil Yo-Yo says. Yeah, maybe he is. Paul says, we divided for months now. Amrabat going to Liverpool. We don't have to sell to buy. Time for Glazers to invest in players. And Chalaboy Comics says, the elephant in the room is Rashford. Poor effort. We're playing with 10 men. Unacceptable. Oh, I didn't even know you had it. David G said, I didn't know you had it. David G says, what gets me is why can't we sustain keeping possession for more than 20 minutes? Exactly. Even lower half teams have long periods parked in our half. It's very frustrating. And Aaron says the next problem is our attackers don't put any fear in opposition defense. And Basilo says, do we have a style of play? What is our identity? And like, before Man United step on the pitch, what do you say we're going to do? And I agree. That's an issue. That is an issue. Like, what is the Ten Hag ball? What we do? What is it? It's a serious question.
We need Rashi on the left. That's
100%. 100%.
Put Rashi in his position.
But I don't like that he sulks that he's not there. Because that's my feeling I'm getting in the last couple of games. Like Flex touched on it yesterday. His body language was awful, like proper bad. And he came off and he was slamming his stuff down on the bench. And I thought, you're angry. We're all angry. You know, I get it. Like, and that's what I mean. He showed more intensity when he slammed his thing down than he did in the whole however long he played in the game. And it's just like, I get it. You're more effective off left. Go ahead, Paulo.
I would hope he was upset with himself.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Or anyone else, because honestly, there was a lack of effort. His passing was quite poor. And you know what? With Rashford, I kind of see him playing as if he thinks he's the big star. He doesn't need to run too much. He has to, not expend too much energy, and under Ten Hag's system that we're trying to implement, he can't be that sort of player, no matter how. Do you know what I mean?
I think he's doing that because he's playing in the 9 position. If you're looking at what he said about the 9 position, I think he's trying to play in the way as a 9 that he thinks is probably right? Wait for the chances, don't run around like a headless chicken, wait for the chances in the 9 position. But I think he probably thinks and knows that he's better on the left-hand side and there's an option. Like, Ten Hag does deserve a lot of blame for this, right? Because during preseason, Sancho's playing false 9. We haven't seen it from the start in the first 2 games. Why? Even actually when he came on the last 2 games, he didn't go into the middle of the park, did he? He went on the left.
No. And what was our best performance on tour in pre-season? First game against Arsenal. Who started up front in that game? Jadon Sancho. He scored. He scored in that game too. Rashford didn't even start, but it's not even necessarily like a Rashford thing. It's just more like it was working against Borussia Dortmund. He started that game, false 9. We were playing all right. Individual mistakes. Well, I get that kind of part of it, but I just, like you said, Rich, I don't understand. Like, that was clearly a stopgap of like, okay, that was the plan or something like that until Højlund comes back in. But it's like, well, why is he not being used there? And again, like you want to have your most effective players in the positions they do their best work and they have their best output. Last season, our best player from an output perspective was Marcus Rashford. He scored over 30 goals, or 30 goals in all comps from the left. So why would we not have him on the left? Bruno Fernandes created however many chances, but they weren't from the right-hand side. They were through the middle. Why are we moving these two most productive players? I get they spam it and all that kind of stuff, but in that team, they're the two that create and score goals. So why are they not in a position where they should be doing that?
Said, if Eric Ten Hag thinks Bruno is so great, if he thinks he's so brilliant, how does he get moved? How does he? Because when the big boy players,
this is the problem. Flex.
Why does he do it?
This is the problem, no Flex. This is what I don't understand about some of the decisions because we have to look at Ten Hag in some of the decisions that he's made.
Yeah, like why is he doing that?
The first one was, well, you got Casemiro. Who's going to be the piece that is going to complement a Bruno Casemiro midfield? Yeah,
and he's chosen Mount.
And he chose Mount. And that one already was like, okay. And even the whole fan base, the whole Man United fan base, I think was all in agreement when we said, oh, that's weird. We didn't even understand what was going to happen. And we were like, I'll
come back to that in 2 seconds. I'll come back to that. Yeah.
We was in total shock about that. But then it's just the way we're putting the team together. So then after the next piece is like, there's decisions that the manager's made. They've just been bad ones. And we can put our hands up. Not to say that we don't back the manager or we're not with him anymore, but it's strange. Even the last one for me now, we're all waiting for Højlund to become and be the truth.
And he's not going to be, let's be honest. The kid's not going to be able to come in and do crazy stuff.
Let me land this one, though. We were all saying, well, I get that you thought that Kane would have been hard to pry out of Spurs, but why didn't we fight for him, though? Like, when you used to sit there and you think to yourself, all right, cool, like, because everyone can see what he's doing them, but
he's already doing it.
Already, yeah?
Already? No way to go.
You're like, well, yeah. I know that would have been the answer. You know what I mean? That would have been a centre-forward answer that we needed. And it's just, now we're trying to understand Ten Hag's decisions. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to rest in it and say, you know what, Ten Hag, this is your team. This is your club. We're going to trust you. I don't know what's going on. I don't know the workings out. But hopefully we pass this exam. And the last season, it proved because he did. Last season, we had a good season for a first manager to come in and get done, go to those finals and do what he did. It's worked out. So now we have to just trust in the manager and say, listen, I don't get it at all. Build.
That's the timeline, KG. The timeline. Remember, how many times did we say this throughout the transfer window of that timeline doesn't make a lot of sense of like the number one priority position was a striker. And we went backwards. We went midfielder, goalkeeper, striker. And I'm not, and I don't, obviously there's a lot of hypotheticals here, but had we signed that striker first, and then maybe one, we might have found out that Højlund was injured earlier on and we could have managed that more effectively. Or two, he might not have even picked up the injury because he wouldn't have been with Atalanta that long. The point being is that was the critical key position that still yesterday we're chatting. I sat here during the second half and we were losing 1-0 and I went, I can't believe it. We still don't have a recognised striker on the pitch. Yeah.
It's still the same as last year.
That was that was the one thing. We came out last season going, get a striker.
With Martial, we're still there with Martial. Can only manage 10 minutes.
Bro.
I know, and I know that we have a striker now,
and he's 10 minutes.
And he's going to be, and he's going to be coming on soon. Højlund, I get that, but it's like, how did we get here? How did we get
But also
here?
now there's unnecessary pressure on Højlund. This guy's 20 years old. Like we shouldn't be bringing in young. We complain about this kind of stuff under, I don't know if it's Ole or even before that, when kids are coming in and they're under pressure and they shouldn't be coming into a pressure situation. He's coming in now. We're basically saying he has to score a hat-trick in his first game against Arsenal. If his Arsenal he comes in on. That's basically we're basically saying he has to do that.
Now he just needs to stay fit and probably get a light brace. But we need to understand why we said no Kane and we chased him instead. Yeah, because that's the part of that's the interesting one.
And also and the Mount one as well though. I've said my backing of Mount was purely on he played 68 minutes in one game when everybody was crap. Let's not do that thing. Yeah. Let's do you know what I mean? Because some people say, oh, you was defending him the other day. I'm saying let's not scapegoat him. Let's not make him a scapegoat when the whole team's playing crap. Anthony's doing breeze, Rashford's doing breeze, Bruno's doing breeze. Bloody who else? Lissandro started awfully. He got hooked at halftime against Wolves. Let's be honest, this is our Leacher here, who we know is a fantastic player. He got hooked at halftime because Ten Hag couldn't trust him. Covered Luke Shaw's ass quite a few times yesterday, actually, but then in the end kicked it into his own net and then our first one hit off him. Like, he's not had a good couple of games, has he? Luke Shaw been off it. Like, there's a lot of players doing, you know, a lot of crazy stuff. So let's not just home in on Mount. That's what my thing was. But the conversation of, is it going to be the right signing and the midfield balance with him in there versus getting someone else is a valid topic to discuss. It is a valid. You can't say Mason Mount is rubbish and, you know, he's crap. Oh, look at them 2 games. I'm not saying that, but I do agree. You can't be naive to say, like, if somebody wants to step in the room and say, let me have a conversation with you about this balance of midfield, because look at other people's midfielders. What, you think that's going to be good? Does your manager think that's going to work? And as a United fan, you have to go, got to believe in him. Because you can't sit there like I've done on a lot of podcasts, because when you're outside of the house, and you're in foreign territory, I sat there on Vibe with 5, and I told Danny Murphy and Anton Ferdinand that I'd rather have Casemiro, Mount, and Bruno over Odegaard, Rice, Partey, all of that. I've done it because they're my guys,
of course.
But when we want to really get into talk football, it's uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable. And we're going to see how uncomfortable that is in 2 weeks' time when we have to bop up to the Emirates. Yeah. So it is what it is. Like, you have to say things honestly, especially here. If we can't be truthful to ourselves on our platform, in our community, in-house, then let's just forget it. Yeah. It is uncomfortable, to say the least. KG, am I lying?
No, you're not lying at all, man. You know,
Kenny, am I lying?
No.
In the chat, do you feel comfortable? You know, and that's just where we got to go with it. We've got Anton on the right wing. We do our best to back him. He's our guy.
We need an 8, though. We do need an 8. Like, and
what's Mount? What's Mount then?
That's what Mount is.
What is Mount?
No,
that's the 8.
Well, here's the one then. Even if we get Amrabat, let's say Amrabat, we bring Amrabat
then
in.
Mount is on the bench.
No, we need Amrabat.
Does everything that we saw yesterday get fixed? Does everything get fixed? You know what I mean?
You can see that, guys. Come on, man. You're not telling me that Mason Mount was a person to be the finished piece for that midfield of Casemiro and Casemiro.
So did he want 2 then? Do you think Eric's
we was looking at Rabiot and we tried to bring in Rabiot and Mason Mount, right? Rabiot chose to stay or something. So we've always tried to bring in another midfielder. Kobe started to show some form, and they said, you know what, maybe Kobe will be the guy. He unfortunately takes a horrible injury. Now there's no Kobe, and clearly McTominay doesn't want McTominay to be there. He's not using him. He's not going to him. So the McTominay factor's over. And I don't know if the managers kind of sending a message to the board to say, listen, I need more. Like, I'm not going to play these players. I do need more. I don't know if that's what he's getting with in terms of even in the 9, because he does, as he said, I need another striker. He doesn't have enough, right? Even we spent a lot of money. Yes, agreed. Yeah. But then when you do look up and say, hold on, it's just Martial and Højlund's there, but that's all we have up front. And
remember when I said we're going to see Martial more? Remember when you was like, "Don't take the piss, Martial." I think was on tour.
You're gonna play,
I think I said it to Owen as well. I was like, he's going to be a significant part of what we're trying to do, because
you know how mad this is. What you're saying, Flex. I saw links of Martial to leave the club, and I said, we can't let him go.
Exactly. How crazy is that? How crazy is that?
I was like, if Martial leaves, in these next
Højlund. That's it.
What are you gonna do? Like, this is it, and he's not like he helps or plays or is involved.
He's just there making up the numbers.
Like, he's
there. And in them 8 minutes, bro, that he came on, just the way
he
controlled the ball
was good.
and got off the feet, it just looked way more natural than what Rashi done for the whole 80 minutes prior. Now, crazy.
Because he can play with his back to goal. He can receive the ball with his back to goal. Rashford wants to play balls into space.
This rubbish.
No, guys, it's not. If we're trying to hold on to
KG, we're in big trouble. I'll tell you that. I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it. Yeah, no, because we're getting to the end of it. Bro, we're in big trouble. Here's what's going to happen, I'll tell you what's going to happen. Here's what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen, We're going to play Forest, right? This is what I think is going to happen, and I hope I'm wrong. We're going to play Forest, and we'll marginally beat them, but it won't be anything to shout about, We'll get by. It might not be as bad as Wolves, but we'll just get by. We'll get cooked off Arsenal. International break. Brighton at Yard we've got. We've got Brighton at OT. Something's going to happen in that game, and we're all going to be like, bloody hell, what on earth is this? We've only managed to scrape wins against Wolves and Forest. I can feel it. I can feel that that's what's going to happen.
Not going to happen.
We need to clip this so then we look back.
And I hope Owen has this as a receipt and goes, Flex, do you remember 3 weeks ago when you said this? And we've got 9 points on the board since then. I go, bloody hell, shoot me down. I can't believe how wrong I was.
I don't need to clip it anymore. They can go to United View Clips, subscribe. It's pinned in the chat.
Quick plug.
Honestly. And actually, talking about quick plugs, big up Minna in the chat. She says it's scary how much fans talk about Kobbie Mainoo, putting too much pressure on him. He hasn't even played Premier League minutes, but also, which is very true. Make sure you check out Minna's channel as well. We can put a link in the video description below.
It's already in the video description.
It's already there, pre-liable. Let's get her to 1K, man. She said so I can hurry up and beat KG live in 4K in front of everyone. You know what I mean? Yes, exactly. And let's get the super chats out as we wrap up. Oh, there's quite a few actually. Which I do.
First one is none other than Zayn Miassi, Fleck.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, KG. Do you think you will get any goals at the Emirates? Who is worse signing, Mount or Havertz?
Havertz.
Easy.
Yeah, Arsenal fans ain't happy about him. They can dress it up, but they feel like they feel worse than how we feel about Mount. They're onto him. They are onto him. It's just because they're winning and they're doing all right. Jerome T says, first half we should have had a penalty and we missed 2 sitters. I think we can play like that more as we get more fit. Players need to step up though. They do look really unfit, innit? They do look. Yeah. Show says, can't believe what Shaw gets away with from this fan base. New contract and back in his comfort zone. 10th season now, by the way. Such a fraud. Ooh. Yeah, Lucas. Hip Hop Geek says, was that a pen though?
All right, a bit slow.
Was a horrible game, but let's keep calm and Erik ten Hag will get it right. I questioned him lately too, but still believe in him. Yeah, I'm with that. I questioned him lately, but still believe him. I'm with that. Avi says LVG won the FA Cup and still got shifted.
So did Flay G.
So did we.
So did Flay G.
I know how it feels, and it's not nice. Imagine that happening in real life. I felt devastated driving home, and that was in make believe life on a game.
I felt let down and betrayed by the club. I felt betrayed by the club. I'm not gonna
man! Imagine real life and having to move back to your country.
Honestly, Bacilo says we need to start having
players, bro. They wouldn't let us communicate.
It was ridiculous. We couldn't even say goodbyes. Couldn't clear the lockers. Bacilo says we need to start having uncomfortable conversations about the manager. I am very, very concerned. We are calling out for a first phase controller as if signing Onana exposed how poor the midfield is. And Giovanni says, why does it feel like third year syndrome? And Taco says, why can't we play top level without a striker like Man City did before they bought Haaland?
Sancho,
better players.
Yeah. Mish says the Man United fan base is divided. Blame on Mount, Erik ten Hag, Anthony. I don't even know what to think anymore. How do we fix our support as fans? And
you're doing this.
Believe. Denzel says, can we all agree that Mount has immediately made our midfield worse? Let's be honest. I know it's early, so willing to give him time, but it's worrying. Do you agree with that statement there, guys? That
maybe
Mount's
in the short term,
made it worse.
Maybe in the short term,
because we're trying to go through a transition.
Exactly. Maybe short term, in the short term.
Yeah. And Bacilo says, KG, we spent 400 million. Erik ten Hag has to answer. Has questions to answer.
He'll get it right. Yeah, he'll get it right. I trust the manager. Believe in him.
Okay, guys, big show. Little Kenny, how you doing? You all right?
Yeah.
Tell them to like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe. No liking, no subscribing. Owen, yes, big up to everyone. Actually, no, I don't need to do that. Actually, I've got a normal one. Yeah, we've got a normal one. Forgot about that.
Yeah.
We'll be back tomorrow morning. Transfer view. Will Man United panic in the last couple of weeks of the window? Will we get anything? KG. Just before we go, you told us there's a special war kitty that's hidden and is coming.
Where is the money?
Where is it, bro?
Basically, as a tier, I don't know where I'm.
He's Nigerian, man.
Do you know money, bro? Do you know what happened? I never expected.
Never expected.
McTominay staying Maguire staying, Donny van der Beek not leaving, and Henderson.
Excuses.
No, but
Excuses.
you can't say that because that's not a war kitty. That's needing to sell players to get the money. You said
Bro,
we've
don't
got
ask
it
me how the
ready.
money
Like
comes.
you
Listen,
said,
don't
we've
ask-
got a
don't
thing
ask
like
me
this
how the
in the
money
bag.
comes.
It's hidden.
Man pulled out a man bag.
Why do you have that off screen?
I've got loads of stuff, bro. I got ibuprofen.
Bro,
I got
man as well.
ibuprofen. See, I got a pen.
Got my PS2 controller.
I got a
listen.
T-shirt for no reason. I got a ticket
wait.
from I got a ticket when we went to KG. Where did we go?
I've got this and I'm here on my own. I don't know what the hell I'm doing.
Penny.
He's there by
No,
himself.
no. How you playing Uno by yourself? Like reverse.
That is ridiculous. Kenny, what you got? Kenny's got a piggy bank.
He's
Walk
got a
it.
walkie.
There you go.
I've got what
I
else
did
have I
anything
got?
in there.
I've got this.
Why is
Well, I
KG got Uno when he's
mean
playing
it,
by
but-
himself?
I got the
KG's
Flowers
really playing.
Manchester. KG's playing Uno by himself. You see what I'm
Himself.
saying,
I just bring
Skip a turn. Oh, it's back to me.
guys?
Oh, pick up 4 in your face. Oh, you pick up 4.
Yes. Oh, damn. 1, 2, 3.
Man, it's disgusting.
No, mate.
Guys, we are out of here on that note. We'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Big up to Kenny and little Kenny. Big up to Rich. Big up to Paulo. Big up to Owen. Big up to KG and his imaginary friend. Take care. We are out of here. Peace.